And I'll tell you something that happened in our family. One of my nieces was called to serve, to be a traditional healer. And with her being called to be a traditional healer, I had the freedom to ask questions from somebody I know and trust, And the things she told me about traditional healing, it so opened my eyes. It so opened my eyes. My family I have a Catholic upbringing, right? I'm no longer Catholic, but I was brought up within the Catholic Church. So there's Hail Mary. So when she says, when people are calling on Abraham, when they're calling on Mary, they are calling on their ancestors. And we are taught to accept it and believe it as real. But when we call on our ancestors, it's seen as ancestor worship. You see, yet in the Bible, when they say, like our fathers Abraham, like our fathers Jacob, they draw strength from that. And I'll tell you the other thing about reclaiming who I am is when I fully came to understand that those are my ancestors. That isn't it, if the first person in the world was black, right? So it stands to reason that those people in the Bible are black, or they were black. People sometimes forget that when you look at Egypt now, you'll think that Egypt was always like that. Egypt wasn't, my sister. Egypt was as black. And sometimes also when we speak black, we expect the color. Let me rather say it was African. It was African. It was flat-nosed, thick lips like me. So Jesus looked like me, or else Jesus would never have survived in Egypt. When he ran to be hidden, when Moses was taken into the palace in Egypt, adopted there, he would never have survived. If he was a white man, he'd never have survived. So sometimes it's simple things like that sometimes we don't sit and take the time and think and say, okay. We don't stop to think. Maybe also because we always chasing to pay the rent. Yeah. You see, when you kept on the treadmill, living a lifestyle that wasn't of your making, it wasn't my making. To wake up and go to school. I didn't decide that my child needs to learn the cross-section of a green leaf and understand the chlorophyll. Who decided that? Why does it benefit him? You see, so when we kept constantly doing things, living a life we didn't choose, or a lifestyle, I didn't decide that I need to wake up and go to work and make clothes. I choose to make clothes, yeah, but I didn't decide that that should be a way of life, So when we kept busy with things that are so petty and repetitive, and it keeps us from questioning the real things, like to me, what is really real, I can tell you that really freed me is defining my own God, who my God is. When you don't know who to cry to and how to cry, you are lost. And yet you will look in the very Bible. One of the first things a conquering nation does is to destroy the temple. That's one of the first things. Any nation that conquers in biblical time, they would destroy whoever's temple. Because when you don't know who your God is, how can you cry to him and he help you? You see, so I feel it's very important. Even with my child, I encourage him. I say, find your God. Ask him to reveal himself to you. Find him so that when you are in trouble, you know who to cry to. Because as much as I can teach you about my God, God is a personal thing. It's personal. When people turn it into wholesale, like one size fits all, they are lying to you. They're lying to you. And that's the biggest lie that keeps you in captivity. You see? So, God is personal. God is personal. They can write Bibles. They can do whatever they want to. God is a personal thing, my sister. And that's what I love about my God, is that He is inside each and every one, everything He created.